As you can judge by my flowing hair, today we're gonna do a tag. Hello there, humans! I am Dulcicil Runo. I'm a sci-fi writer and currently published with a romance short story in a disability and romance anthology. If you're curious to see that, you can purchase the thing. The link is in the description. Today, I'm going to do the Writers Are Weird tag. I love this tag. It's one of my favorites so far. So I'm going to link the original video in the description as well. Let's get right into the questions. Question number 1. Do you have bizarre internet searches? And if so, what's the weirdest one? Well, yeah, of course, I write science fiction. What do you expect? People die. And there's a lot of futuristic things that I have to research if I have to make it, if I want to make it as accurate as I possibly can. Whew, yeah, there are many things that I have to research. I have 2 weird things that I researched before, and it's just weird. The thing is, I am stupid as well, and one of the things that I researched without an incognito window was how to defuse a bomb. And I got really scared once I hit a link that said, "This content is not available in your country." I was like, "Eh." Next thing you know is that I'm gonna have intelligence outside my door. I'm just a writer, and yeah, stupid me, I went into Facebook and asked in one of those writers groups because I didn't know what else to do, and Googling it is not going to be enough. So yeah, I was like, can you guys help me? I'm visually impaired, and Googling these things is kind of no-no. So yeah, how do you go about defusing a bomb? Whoopsie. And the other thing that was really weird, and I also had to go and ask on Facebook because I knew that Googling it was not going to help me because it was a visual thing that I didn't know how to find about. My characters were trying to sink a whaling fleet. Yep, Tibor is an eco-Nazi, deal with it. He was trying to sink a whaling fleet. And yeah, you know how that goes. There are ships with harpoons. Those are the catchers, you know, the whale catchers. They have harpoons, they throw it into the whale, and with grenades. So basically they throw a harpoon with a grenade inside the whale, and the whale explodes. Beautiful humans. So yeah, then they were trying to use these harpoons to hit at the gasoline tanks of the mother fleet and then to hit at each other. But the thing, well, if it worked or it didn't work, yeah, I was looking for, will that work? Will that not work? Where are the gasoline tanks? And those are visual questions for the most part, especially with the location of the tanks. So I had to go into one of those Facebook groups and ask and explain that I'm visually impaired, I'm writing a sci-fi, my character's an eco-Nazi, and yeah. Sometimes my research is not so much about internet history, but my own author history in those big Facebook groups where people just ask bizarre questions all together. But yeah, sometimes I have no choice, and if I want to write an accurate story, or as accurate as I can possibly pull off, then yeah. Tibor is sighted, he's not blind, so I have to, you know, make it believable. If I am narrating from his point of view, he is sighted. I struggle. Question number 2. Do you write people that you know and dislike into your stories as villains and dumb people to kill off? Yeah, just to be clear, I write a lot of people that I know into my stories, or I take characteristics from people that I know, not necessarily if I dislike them or not. That's regardless. If I dislike them, of course, they're not going to have a pretty role in the story. But if I like them, I could glorify them. Well, I'm not going to glorify them, but they are meant to be liked by my readers. Potential readers, whatever. But yeah, if you are a person that I got to like a lot and you are like a good friend of mine, or you had a big impact in my life some way or another, you are gonna make it into a story. I'm not gonna tell you who is gonna be who. And of course, I change the names, I change countries, I change according to plot, according to whatever, but yes, it is heavily based on some characters, and at the same time I also bring completely imaginary characters into the story, so it's a mix of the two. And so, I mean, guys, there's a reason why I write under a pen name. Question number 3. Does personal hygiene sometimes come second to writing? I guess yes. Personal hygiene comes second to depression as well. Double struggle. Question number 4. Do you go on baby name websites to help you name your characters? Yes, 100%. Yes, a million times yes. This is my bread and butter. I breathe it, I live it, I love it. It's everything to me because I cannot go about naming characters without knowing if the name is accurate and appropriate. I write characters from different cultures, and I write characters in the future, but at the same time it's not such a distant future, so I can go on baby name websites and just find names. Not only the baby name websites, but sometimes I want a name that means a specific thing for a specific character, and I'm like, okay, name meaning blah, like name. That's exactly how I selected my pen name, by the way. My pen name translates to song, blind, poem. Or it could be blind, blind poem. Because, you know, dal has many meanings depending on the culture. In one culture, it means blind. In Hungarian, dal means song. So yeah, my name is Song. Hi. And also Cecil comes from the Latin word meaning blind. But also there is the, you know, for the Catholic folks out there, you know, with all your saints and figures and stuff, there is Saint Cecilia, which is the matron of music. So she is the saint of music and all that stuff. So yeah, Cecil, the Cecil. And then runo means poem in Finnish. And that's the main meaning that I based it on. I don't know if runo has a meaning in another culture, but in Finnish it means poem. So my name is, my own pen name was made out of Google search because I wanted to have a name that fitted me and it had different aspects of different cultures that are some way or another related to mine. And yeah, if I do that to myself, of course I'm going to do that to my characters. The character that actually took me the longest to find his name was Tibor from my trilogy of strange families, and it took me more than a week just to find his name. Not on baby name websites, but okay, little cultural side note. Hungary and Iceland both have this thing that you cannot name your baby whatever you want. You have to go through the list of approved names, and if your baby name is not approved, then you have to like request it or something. So yeah, careful. If you're writing an Icelandic character, please don't pull off the sensate mistake. Don't call them Riley. This doesn't fit. Okay? Riley is not an Icelandic name. I beg you, do your research. It annoyed me as when I like, oh, there's an Icelandic character. Riley. No. Nay. 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 No. Okay, so yeah. Tibor, back to my darling over here. I took a week just researching the Hungarian list of names and the Icelandic list of names. And I was trying to find one name, at least one, or whatever, but that wasn't like Adam or David or Joseph, you know, these names that are so biblical and every country has them in their own variation. No. I wanted a name that was not so common, but it would fit in both lists. So the only name that came that wasn't a biblical name was Tibor. And I was like, okay, that's your name now. I don't really like that name that much, but that's your name. Because the engineer people who made him, the lady is Hungarian and her husband is Icelandic, so the engineers who made Tibor have these two cultural backgrounds, and I was like, okay, they decided a name, they wanted to find a matching name, That's what you get, honey. Tibor. Question number 5. Do you have a list of actors and actresses that will play your characters if an adaptation was made? No. I'm visually impaired. I don't recognize actors outside of their film character contexts. It's really... like if I see Daniel Radcliffe walking outside in the street, I have no idea it's him. I have no idea. If I see Eddie Redmayne out of his Newt Scamander character, I have no idea it's Eddie Redmayne. I don't really care so much about actors, I'm sorry, but I'm visually impaired, I don't know. I care about their characters. If they play it good, then of course, sure, but I don't... People talk about names of actors, oh, this person, that person, I'm like, cuckoo, who's this human? I don't know who is this person. Oh, it's an actor, okay. Yeah, I guess, okay, good. Yeah, next question. Question number 6. Have you ever stared at a stranger because they look similar to one of your characters? Despite my previous answer, I have to say yes. I have 2 stories, so buckle up your seatbelts. One of the stories, story number 1. Back in 2017, before July of 2017, I was still plotting and planning and developing characters and outlining and all those preparation stuff before you do your actual drafting. And there's a character of mine who is a clairvoyant, but it's a clairvoyant with a glitch. Call it a disability of the future if you like, but this clairvoyant cannot see good outcomes to save his own life. He can only see death, disease, bad luck, disasters. If someone in the book is going to die, this person knows before everybody else. But if you try to surprise this character with a birthday party, like a surprise birthday party, you will surprise him even though he's a clairvoyant, because he cannot see that coming. That's a nice thing. He cannot see that. You bet he's depressed. Anyway, this character. Then I met someone online and whatever, and later we met in real life, and when I saw the person in real life, I was like, okay, this has to be a really weird experience, because when I see you in a picture and then I see you in real life, it's like 2 different people. So yes, you have to tell me who you are when we meet in person, because I have no idea who you are. Even though I have seen your picture a million times, I don't know you. Yeah. And yeah, so when I met this person in real life, yeah, it was like looking at the character. It was kind of scary because I wrote the character before I met the person, and the person is even from the same country of the character, and that's creepy as... And anyway, to keep that person anonymous, I'm not gonna go into details. Oh my god. And then story number 2, and this is really funny. I tried to get out of the spaceship and I went into a cafe, and the closest thing that was on my way was a Starbucks. So yeah, I went into Starbucks and I ordered a typical frappuccino that I always order when I go into Starbucks, because frappe is a thing for me. This alien loves frappe. Anyway, I go into the back of the cafe in the last table, and I just sit there hoping that no one sees me, you know, shy, introverted little alien. I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm writing my story. And I had to write a very difficult scene because my villain was at full force. And something really tough was happening around my characters and the villain, and the interaction was just really tugging on my heartstrings. Okay, next thing I do is I go to the bathroom, whatever, and then I come back to my seat. And I'm like, okay, just stop procrastinating and just write this scene. And then I look to my side, and there is a person that looks exactly like my antagonist. Well, one thing I have to clarify, I cannot see eye color because that's a tiny detail. I can see a person's height and like body shape or whatever, and I can see like hair color and hair texture. I can see if it's curly hair or flat hair or long hair or short hair, whatever. I can see that, but I cannot see eye color or facial expressions. But then, for what I can see, this person was like looking at a young version of Fyodor Petrovich, so the antagonist of the story. God damn it, and he was sitting right next to me. I was like, I think I have a spy next to me. Worst thing, this person just brings out the laptop, whatever, and starts doing nothing. And I'm like, I'm not paying attention, I'm not looking at this person, I'm trying to ignore it the best I can. And then this person starts Skyping in Russian. Okay, I'm scared. Even the voice was kind of, when I heard the person talking, I was so scared to, I was thinking of switching tables, but the cafe was packed at the time, so I couldn't, and he couldn't change places either. So we were stuck there until the cafe closed, because I stayed until it closed, and he even took out snacks from his backpack, so he was there to stay, doing nothing, next to me. Yeah. Things that happen when I get out of the spaceship. You see why I don't get out of the house? You see, my spaceship is my shelter, and here I stay, because I am being spied. I'm joking, of course. Question number 7. Do you talk to yourself to help you work through scenes? And if yes, where do you talk to yourself? Well, confessions. I had imaginary friends throughout my whole life. Even into adulthood at some point or another. I'm not gonna say exactly when did it stop, but it was a hard transition, and I was bullied because of this when I was younger, so life taught me to shut the crap up in front of people, and I talked to my invisible characters whenever I knew that I was alone, for sure, like no one was around, then I talked to them. Otherwise I was like hush hush. And then I pursued writing, so now I have these characters that I can talk to, but now what I do is that I talk in my mind. Like, I don't really talk about like scenes aloud with myself with the air. Actually, recording YouTube videos is the only solo talking that I'm doing these days. I am only talking to myself when I'm doing YouTube. So yeah, I'm pretty much quiet for the rest of the day unless someone calls me on the phone. So even though I was the imaginary friends kid, I think because of it, I learned to stay super quiet, and if my roommates are around, then I just tell them, hey, I'm recording a YouTube video, or hey, I'm working on a book and I'm writing a very tough thing at the moment. So if you hear me scream, because that's what I do. I don't talk to myself. I express emotions. If it's painful, I scream. If it's sad, I cry. If it's happy, I start laughing like a maniac. Yeah, but it's not really talking to myself. Question number 8. While writing, do you make the same expressions your characters make? No, I'm visually impaired. No. As I said in the previous answer, I express emotions in a different way. If the scene is really tough, I feel it. I really go deep into the emotions of the character. And yeah, it's tough, but I don't make the same facial expressions because I cannot see facial expressions. So I have no idea what's going on, and I actually have to sometimes stop whatever I'm writing because I need to Google the exact body language. If I want to write like an action tag, I really have to stop. Placeholders are not good for me because again, I'm visually impaired. I'm not going to let a placeholder skip my eyes or my robot reader, and no, I try to write as clean as I can from the first draft. So sometimes I just have to stop and Google certain expressions and body language and movements. If it's something obvious like slamming your fist into the table, that's obvious. Or like a frown or a scowl, okay, that's obvious. But there are other things that at the moment I don't know. Or if my memory is just not working, I have to Google it and just remind myself, okay, what was that? You know, it happens. Blindness. Question number 9. Do you practice answering questions for interviews in case you make it big? No, I don't even think I'm gonna make it big, even though it would be nice because I want to be one of the biggest or the biggest fiction own voices blind writer, because that's what I do, and I know of very little but like very few, very little. My God, my English, so I'm sorry. Yeah, I've been recording for like 1 hour already without ventilator, and it's really hot. I'm dying. But yeah, I have seen a few visually impaired writers on Twitter. Shout out to Sophia Tite-Flynn. Sophie, I didn't mention you in previous videos. I didn't forget about you. It's just that, yeah, the heat is tugging at my memory. I'm so sorry. So yeah, I know a few blind writers. I know a few, but I want to put myself out there and I want to be big. But I don't think I will make it because I am a pessimist. So I never practice interview answers. What I do though is I am very concerned with staying private. Like, I am the Sia of writers. I don't show my face. I'm thinking of if I ever have to, you know, show myself somewhere and there's a camera, please let me give my back to the camera. I'm really sorry, but I want to stay private. There's a reason why I use a pen name. There are many reasons why I would like to stay private. I am visually impaired. I don't want my eyes dancing on camera. I am very self-conscious and I just don't know. So it's not about my answers if I make it big, because I am just real. I don't practice answers. I don't even script my videos. I just follow a few bullet points. Why would I even practice what? I don't, it's just not in, it's not in me. I am one of those who tries to keep it real. Question number 10. Do you have a soundtrack or playlist for your book or scenes from your book? Yes, I do! I'm the queen of soundtracks. I can't without them. I make playlists, I make character playlist, I make character relationship playlist, I make group character playlist, I make book playlist, I make short story play, all the playlists you can imagine. I mean, my poor followers on Spotify are like, what the hell is that now? It's, yeah, I'm so sorry, but yeah, I live for the soundtracks. In fact, Strange Families was not really written based on a soundtrack. I am building the soundtrack still today, but yeah, I have a playlist that I started on YouTube. If you're curious, you can peruse my channel and you will find it, but it's still under construction. I haven't finished it and I have to finish that playlist. And it's more than just a soundtrack. It's like my Robo Reader, you know, I use a screen reader on my tablet to edit the book. And what I did is that I go on Spotify and my playlist and I just play, and then I put the robot voice on top of it. It's like an audiobook with music, and so it's not just songs but like little interludes in between one thing and the other. If I need to add an interlude, I find the appropriate one and I add it. So it's like an audiobook with music, and it would be a billion times better if it was with a human voice and not just a Robo Reader. But hey, for now I have to put up with the robot. And it's amazing. I am really looking forward to finish the playlist. But yeah, even though Strange Families was not written, the book 1 of Strange Families, this is a trilogy. Okay, anyway, it wasn't planned to have like a full soundtrack, but yeah, I am crazy like that, so I'm doing it. But there's a short story of mine. It's called Danger, and I am so proud of that piece. It's one of my favorite things that I've ever written so far. Besides the books, but like short story wise, I love that story. I'm so proud of it. If you're curious and you want to read it, hit me up in the messages on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, and I could send you a link for you to beta read it. And if you're even more curious, there's a playlist, a complete playlist for Danger. The story is a dual POV crime short, and because it's a POV, it has to switch from one POV to the next, and whenever it switches, there's like a title, and the title is of a song that fits the scene or inspired the scene, or it fits with the theme or the scene or the character or whatever. But yeah, I love it. I love it. If you're curious, let me know in the comments and I can link you to that playlist. Oh my goodness, I cannot write without music. This is so personal to me. I used to be a singer before becoming a writer, And that's the reason why I don't show my face, by the way. Just going back to the previous answer, I was pretty much in the spotlight and I had a few experiences that were not very nice. And I decided, no, I'm not going to do this anymore, and whatever other artistic endeavor that I do next, I'm not going to show my face anymore. I'm going to stay private. So now you know another reason why I am like the Sia of the writers. I don't show my face. But yeah, I love music. I cannot write without it. I cannot write in silence. Of course, there's going to be more than just a soundtrack. There's a playlist for absolutely everything. I hope you liked my answers, and hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think. If you have your own thoughts on this, share with me. I read and reply to everything. Yeah, so that's it for now. See you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, please, and ring the bell for future updates. Bye.